Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we have Andry with us again. We're gonna focus on something entirely different than planche this time, right?
Yeah, one arm handstand. So I hope Sondre can show me the best tips so I can improve my one arm handstand.
You wanna try max hold one arm handstand?
Okay, let's try it.
And we're also gonna try and generalize these tips so that you guys can also get something to take home from this video. Let's just go.
Yeah,
okay?
Let's go.
I like to just get my shoulders going. I also like opening and closing my hands. Then we get our forearms into the picture
interesting.
as well, which is nice. I like killing as many birds in as few stones as possible.
In one shot.
Yeah. And then we go like bigger circles.
Okay.
Nice. Just to sort of get the spine going, I like going a little bit like this.
Okay, I hope I will not break my spine.
Next, I like to just start to like get some weight on my wrists. So we're basically just getting our wrists going. Okay, that's good. Now we start to put weight on it, enter like a push-up position, and we can do like small circles. First like one way and then the other way.
I never did before.
Let's also do a few push-ups just to sort of get our shoulders going. And if push-ups is hard for someone, then you can do this on your knees as well. The point here is not to get a workout, but just to, you know, warm up our shoulders, warm up our wrists, warm up our arms. So like 10 push-ups or something like that, just to sort of get things going. I usually focus on actually strengthening my wrists by doing wrist push-ups.
Okay.
You've probably seen some of them before, up to first knuckles. I do this around and then up to fingertips. And then also backside, down and up. And these ones, if you're not flexible enough to go all the way down, you can move your hands closer or even cross them. Or you can move them further out to get deeper. It's a great way to strengthen your wrists and to prevent wrist injury in the long term. So now that our wrists are more or less warmed up, we're gonna focus more on our shoulders. We can just do these standard stretch.
Yeah, it's amazing exercise.
So I'm going to show you a couple of wall assisted drills that I like to use as a part of my warm-up to just open up my shoulders.
Okay, let's go.
90-degree bend, bit away from the wall. And then we push out our chest and down with our butt. And look down into the ground.
Okay.
That's what we do in a handstand, so we want to try and stay as relevant as possible. Our bodies are more or less warmed up, but in warming up our head, I think it's also nice to start with some handstand basics.
Okay, yeah.
So I always do a few sets of regular handstands. For the viewer who think regular handstands are difficult, it could be like wall-assisted handstand or whatever that feels easy to you. I do have specific tutorials for two-arm handstands that you guys can check it out if you are interested in complete tutorials for a lower level. Okay, let's just do some handstands.
Yeah.
I like these shapes, for example, when I'm warming up, and just to sort of get into a handstand mood. So now I guess we're more or less warmed up for the handstand. So let's start focusing on the real stuff.
I'm ready.
Why don't you just show us your current level of one
for sure.
handstand?
Okay.
This way I can make more educated decisions on what we should be focusing on today. Okay. You guys can see that Andry here has already a pretty good handstand, but there are a couple of things that I think we should be focusing on. The thing about your positioning that I think can hugely improve your consistency and your one-arm handstand. And there's also balance-related cue that I want to discuss later with you. It's a very common problem for people training the one-arm handstand, and usually it sort of feels like you're just slow falling. So you're like finding the spot and then you're just like waiting to fall, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If you could enter this straddle position that you would be using for a one-arm handstand, here I want you to push down further, yes. So allow your butt to come a bit over your shoulders, yes. and squeeze with your hip flexors and your thighs to stabilize the position. You lock your hips in place in order to prevent your legs from starting to rotate, and also in order to get a deeper straddle, because we want our straddle to get as deep as possible to lower our center of gravity so that is easier. If I do my one arm handstand here, it's very difficult. So I do this.
I see, you move your hips forward.
Also here, I can tighten my hip flexors and create a very stable and tight position.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try again this position. So here.
Yeah. And down, yes.
Okay, here I feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And stable.
And now you should feel that this area is much tighter and not as wobbly.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Perfect. Okay, so you can see here that he has a very stable one arm handstand position. And what happens when he tries to lift up is he loses balance. Balancing a one arm handstand is very different from balancing a two arm handstand. There are many ways you could potentially compensate and balance. I mean, you can use your legs, but it's very inefficient because it's very far away from the ground where we have our contact point. So it's going to be like huge swings, very inefficient. Some people try using their hips to compensate. It's possible, but it's also very inefficient. You could use your shoulder, but it's going to be super heavy. You're going to be plunging.
I should use my 100% of strength.
So the next option is using the elbow. A lot of people, they focus so much on pushing out, which is important, but they also tighten off their elbow. They brace their elbow because they tighten the tricep because they try to push up so hard. So in doing that, you eliminate the possibility of using your elbow to balance. And if you check out any of the pro balancers, hand balancers out there, if you take a close look at their elbow, you will see that it's like jello.
Okay,
it's making these micro adjustments all the time. You both rotate, you make small micro bends, you overextend, you do these small corrections all the time. We try to lock off our shoulder, but relax our elbow. So yeah, relax your elbow. Yeah, it's better. It's better for sure.
One more.
Yeah. Now up to fingertips first, yes. And instead of lifting your hands, let your elbow work for you. Nice. Look at his elbow. You guys can see the difference. How did it feel?
Yeah, I feel like if I start to lose the balance in the side, I just bend a little bit like a close, and I can move my body to the point where I can balance.
So one thing that I often like to tell people to try is when they're in this position and they're in a finger supported position, instead of lifting up the arm, try to use elbow to lift, to tilt the body so that the arm lifts itself.
Okay.
Right?
So like don't drop on the side, just push more and just like slowly.
In the beginning, just for learning the technique of balancing, that's a good idea.
You know, you put your toes in my nose.
Andry here already has a super good handstand balance and control, so he was immediately able to adapt and to understand the form cues that I was giving him. For most people, this is going to take like a few weeks of adjusting.
What they should do then?
In this case, they should be working on the positioning itself and also doing some wall-assisted drills. So there are a couple of drills that I like using. I call them back to butts. That is awesome for learning to understand your hip positioning in relation to your hands, and also doing open and close.
Open and close.
Open and close, open and close.
And open as much as they can.
Yeah. Always as much as they can, and feeling how the hip positioning needs to change in relation to the shoulders as you're opening those.
And legs have to be always flexing like crazy,
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I like dividing my handstand workout into sort of different sections and different drills depending on the goal of the drill. So I like to start out with focusing on balancing. It's important to find drills that are challenging, yet not too challenging. In my case, doing these regular one-arm handstands is usually pretty easy for me. So I like to challenge myself more. So I use a drill that's more challenging, for example, the full one.
Easy. Easy one.
Wait. But in your case, you should find a variation that is challenging, but where you can balance.
Okay.
For most people in the beginning, that's going to be
With the
finger
fingers.
assisted. You enter this split position,
Okay.
and you move out until your toes are not really touching, but you can feel the wall if you want to, if that makes sense. And this way we can use the wall as a guide or as a coach to tell us if we start rotating or if we get out of position. So we should always try to push back out from the wall. We should never lean into the wall or use the wall. Not like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And now try to feel your elbow working. Try to push up. Nice. So you see, now even though Andry here is doing proper balances on your right arm,
Yeah.
you're working a few steps behind on your left arm.
So I
And
have
that's
to.
very, very typical, but it's a great way for you guys to see as well and how difficult the drills should be. Like now you felt it was challenging,
Yeah.
even though you were not balancing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You were still using your balance, you were thinking about the positioning, and that's enough. Next step would be to lose a couple of fingers and gain more weight on the main
Yeah,
arm.
and
And then-
like now, I feel on my left arm, really, without the fingers, I wouldn't to hold. Like I can't. No. So yeah, like now 4 fingers.
Yeah.
Then I should try to put 2, 1.
Yeah. Okay, so now we go to the entry drills. So in a regular 2-arm handstand, an entry would be something like a kick-up, for example.
Yes.
So an entry in a 1-arm handstand is this.
Yeah.
And the entry by itself is a skill, so you should also practice it as a skill. 5 repetitions each side is 1 set, more or
Okay.
less. And then you can do like 5 sets. The point of these drills is basically going back and forth between the hands at your specific level. So in your case, you may want to go all the way up, then down, and the left arm you may want to go here, or even 3 fingers. And you want to go back and forth. And for most people, some people, just going side bends back and forth is where you start. Then you can start going up on the first knuckles and then continue from there. I actually have a whole tutorial about this specifically, so if you're interested you can check that out. I will link it in the description. For now, let's just focus on the structure of the whole workout, right?
Yeah.
So you can give it a shot.
Okay. Yeah.
You want to go slow and controlled. Always.
Okay, left it's completely.
So you see, Andry's entries need work. So this is a great drill for him. Going back and forth just to get these efficient entries. And I promise you, when you get more efficient entries, your 1-arm handstand practice is going to be much more efficient as well. Good. And what I like to do in between sets, we can stretch our middle split.
I prefer coffee.
I prefer a stretch.
Okay, stretch my lower back.
Yeah, you can do whatever, and you can change the stretch between the different drills, but sometimes it's nice to stay efficient in between the sets.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm ready.
nice, slow and controlled. Nice. Good. Good.
Yeah, like on right, you know, I feel like okay, right and left like.
Yeah. So one thing I want to point out here,
Okay.
you're actually doing it pretty well, but what I see in a lot of people is when they're doing these entries or weight shifts, they have a very dynamic change of position. And it's going to make it much more inconsistent. This is what you very typically see. If you're able to make this smoother then it's going to be much more consistent and much easier. And the way to do that is by keeping your shoulders elevated the whole time and pressing with your fingers as you lean to the side. So remember, we already practiced these finger push-ups, which is super relevant for making these more smooth and flowy. Nice. And smooth and slow. Nice. Yeah. Nice.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
My left. Yeah, after this video, I promise I will practice my left arm.
Let us know in the comment section if you're interested in seeing how his one arm handstand looks a couple of weeks from now. Good. It's looking much better already.
Okay.
Okay, so with this drill,
Wait, I say in my Ukrainian accent, with these drills.
Okay, so with these drills, that we were just discussing, focusing on the balancing at the level that you are comfortable with, challenging yet doable, using wall-assisted drills to focus on form-specific things, and the entries to get an efficient entry. But there are a bunch of other drills that we can do to make our practice more fun, and also to focus on more details and to get better progress. For each workout, I choose one specific form cue that I want to focus on. For advanced people, you can do this freestanding, but most people want to introduce this to the wall first. And you see, the wall is there, so you can actually focus on the things that matters. Nice. And we're balancing.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel it like I start to lose balance when I touch the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point actually. It's like a harder variation, so you should make a support. I mean, support the wall, and then like you can go without.
Yeah, I guess that's more or less it.
Yeah, I think it's all, and now I can see the two good points for me. What I mentioned, this is a quad position, like the position, so it can help me a lot, and the elbow. Actually, this is a good point. Really like.
Yeah.
I can hold like much longer now.
Okay, you want to try a max hold one arm handstand?
Okay, let's try. Okay.
Damn!
Not bad, just one time I lost the balance because my left leg moved. Yeah, you know what the problem was? I just don't flex enough.
Yeah.
You know, and then I flex more and I feel more stable.
Yeah, bro.
So now I can move my arm, you know, here, here, here. I feel perfect.
For most people, this kind of progress is not what you usually see in the day, but Andry here has been doing these things for years, so his muscle-mind connection is already very good. So I'm sure that in a few weeks we'll see Andry here doing amazing one-arm handstands, and hopefully you guys got some valuable information from it as well.
Yeah, because you are in handstand a god, okay, like a god, yeah?
No.
Okay. And if you want to train with a Sonderberg, then also check link in the description to his amazing application.
Oh yeah, I have an app.
Yeah, you have an app where you can learn with him.
One-arm handstand programs.
Handstand programs, calisthenics programs, different calisthenics skill programs, and got most of the stuff that I like to do.
So if you want to check that out, be sure to do. And yeah.
See you.
See you. All right.
Okay.
Good job, man.
What is next?
Netflix and chill.
Netflix and Pringles.
Yes.